Welcome to This Explainer. I am so glad you're here today. If you're tuning in, you might be at a point where you're starting to think a little differently about your living situation. Today, we're going to act as your gentle guide through a topic that touches so many of us as we enter our later years, and that's navigating real estate decisions when you're over 50. This explainer is really designed to give you clarity, comfort, and a steady sense of direction as we explore strategic transitions for your next chapter. So get comfortable and let's walk through this together. I want you to take a moment and just ask yourself, does your home still fit your lifestyle? Think about the house you're in right now. What once worked perfectly for you, maybe when your family was growing or your career was in a totally different phase, well, it might feel very different today. You might be finding that there's just too much space going unused. Or maybe the maintenance, the yard work, the cleaning, the endless repairs, feels like it's taking up way too much of your time and energy. It is incredibly common to wake up one day and realize the home you've loved for so long simply isn't aligned with a lifestyle you want to lead right now. And, major life changes almost always spark new needs. It is completely normal to reevaluate your living situation after a significant life event shifts your daily reality. For a lot of folks, this conversation naturally begins around retirement, or maybe when that last child moves out and you are officially an empty nester. For others, it might be prompted by a more difficult transition, like a divorce or the really profound loss of a spouse. And sometimes this realization doesn't even start with your own home. It begins when you find yourself stepping in to help an aging parent navigate their own transition. Whatever brings you to this point, please know that this stage of life calls for a very different approach, and it's entirely okay to admit that your needs have changed. Section 2, the myth of one path, finding what works for your unique situation. One of the biggest misconceptions I see people struggle with is this heavy burden of thinking there's a single, universal right move they're supposed to make. Let's just dismantle that myth right now. There is absolutely no single right move. Your personal situation dictates the best path forward. Whether you ultimately choose to stay in your current home, sell it, or explore other creative living arrangements, the correct choice depends entirely on your unique preferences, your health, your finances, and your family dynamics. You really don't have to follow anyone else's script. Section 3. Exploring your transition options. Let's look at the 3 primary paths to consider. Let's start with option 1, which is to stay and modify. For some homeowners, the absolute best choice is to stay exactly where they are, but make thoughtful adjustments to the property. This is often called aging in place. You can rethink your space for comfort and reduced maintenance. That might mean modifying the home, maybe installing a walk-in shower, moving the primary bedroom down to the first floor, or simply rethinking how the space is used on a daily basis. The goal here is making sure the house works for you, rather than you working for the house. Option 2 is downsizing, and the crucial point here is simplification. By moving to a smaller footprint, you can significantly reduce your monthly expenses, simplify your daily life, and actually free up the equity you've built in your home over the years. But we really have to acknowledge that this path comes with deep emotional considerations. Leaving a home, especially if it's been in your family for years and holds precious memories, well, that's not just a financial transaction. It's an emotional transition. For some, downsizing is wonderfully freeing. For others, it takes a lot of emotional processing before taking the leap. And that brings us to option 3, which is to relocate. In many cases, packing up and relocating makes the most sense for this next chapter. Whether that's moving closer to family, seeking out specialized healthcare, or integrating into a really supportive community, relocating can provide immense peace of mind. And it's not just for your own well-being, but for your loved ones as well. It fosters a much stronger sense of connection during a time of life when community becomes more vital than ever. Section 4, guiding a parent's transition, navigating decisions on their behalf. I want to pause here for a second and speak directly to those of you watching who are adult children navigating these decisions on behalf of an aging parent. You are so often tasked with balancing a really heavy caregiver's load. You're managing complex, heavy emotions, both yours and theirs, while simultaneously coordinating tight moving timelines and handling practical logistics, all at once. It can feel completely overwhelming. Please know that this heavy emotional and logistical burden you carry is totally valid. It's a profound act of love to help guide a parent through this, but it is also exceptionally demanding. Section 5, the danger of rushed decisions. Understanding the power of patience and clarity. It is far too easy to fall into the trap of reactive choices, those decisions made based on pressure, stress, or artificial urgency. In fact, here's a rather surprising insight. A huge percentage of moves for older adults are actually triggered by a sudden health event or an unexpected crisis, rather than advanced planning. Too often, people rush into real estate decisions because they just feel overwhelmed by circumstances. But truly, none of these life decisions should be rushed. When you grant yourself the patience to step back, take a breath, and clearly understand all of your options ahead of time, you make empowered choices. You get to move from a state of anxiety to a place of confident clarity. Section 6. Making the right life move. Finding the right guidance. This is exactly where having the right experience guidance matters immensely. Michelle Williams Homes operates by a really beautiful, simple philosophy. My role is not to push you toward a sale. It's to help you step back, look at the full picture, and understand what your options really are. A dedicated senior real estate specialist operates with this exact core belief. The goal is never pressure. A true guide prioritizes your clarity, your peace of mind, and your overall well-being way over a simple transaction. It's all about the thoughtful, patient exploration of what's possible for you. Because at this stage in the game, this isn't just about real estate. It's about making thoughtful decisions that truly support your next chapter. It's about making the right move for your life. These are deeply personal choices that affect your daily happiness, your comfort, and your family. So when you're ready to explore what your options might look like, I warmly invite you to reach out and seek that supportive educational guidance from Michelle Williams Homes. There is absolutely no pressure to act, just an open door to start the conversation. I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder. What does your ideal next chapter look like? Take all the time you need to just envision your future. Dream a little bit about what would bring you the most comfort and joy without any pressure to act immediately. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today. I really hope it's brought you some clarity and comfort as you look forward to the beautiful chapter ahead.